I'm Greg Barron, potter here in Glenbervie, Northland. I Tokoroa person, really. I'm very proud of that. Lived in Northland since about 1980. And prior to that in Golden Bay and originally from the Waikato. Came to pottery really, it started at secondary school. I went to Matamata College and got drawn to the clay area in the art room there, and the art teacher actually knew how to throw pots, so I learned how to throw pots from him, and then I don't know, just somehow I just got really immersed in that, and just it's hard to explain the feeling, but I just really enjoyed that kind of activity and the nature of clay. In the early days, I was always very interested in Barry Brickell and the sort of life that he was living. It seemed kind of like he was doing what he wanted to do. But although at that stage I didn't know Barry Brickell, but I did get work with Merrick Smezek. And Merrick had travelled a lot overseas, and he'd had a grant to go and talk with, or to spend some time with Bernard Leach at St Ives in England. And he was there for about a year. He also travelled to Japan and talked and spent time with Hamada, the great Japanese master. And so he had all this kind of background information, which was pretty much the essence of what pottery was at that time. And we're talking about the early 1970s, when it was very much the East meets West kind of approach. It was to do with production and making a living, and not so much into the creative aspect. So Merrick was actually very influential. When I left school, I went to the Wellington Polytechnic Design School. So I had a year of fairly intensive training in graphics and industrial design, and in being involved in that, we did a lot of drawing and very close-up graphics. And I think that taught me a lot about looking and observing. It also taught me quite a lot about art history and design principles. So I have that in the mix there too. And I must say, when I first moved in towards being a potter, I felt that there was not a conflict so much, but there seemed to be a difference in the craft approach to the design artist approach, and I could never quite decipher it. But anyway, I went with the craft approach that Merrick was teaching me for a number of years, and it wasn't until probably about 20 years ago, I've been doing this 40 years, but about 20 years ago I decided that what I wanted to do was to work more on individual pieces rather than sort of following the flow of production and a gradual improvement through, over time. And I think that was quite an important thing for me, because it seems to have brought me more into a contemporary kind of world of art. Yeah.